Hi friends, I'm Sean Land and I'm a podcast host on Take a Seat. The purpose of this video is to tell you all about how to create a podcast. Hi, I'm Sean Land and I'm a multi-millionaire in the real estate space. But not only that is I'm a businessman and I'm a podcast host also. And that's what I want to speak to you about today in this video, about podcasting and how to start your podcast. As you can see, I've got a very nice studio. I've got lovely mics that I'm speaking to you in, and I always have really good guests, such as UFC fighters, boxers, entrepreneurs, and people in the music industry. And in this video, you're going to get so much value in terms of why to start a podcast, how to start a podcast, what you need to start a podcast, how to distribute it, how to market it, how to get the right guests on, and how to share your message. So please stay tuned, and before we start, smash the subscribe button and leave me a comment, leave me a like, so we can send this out to other people to help them on their journey, just like we're doing for you today. Let's go. Now, before I'm going to tell you any of that, we need to think about why is it important to have a podcast? Well, for me, it was all about sharing information. And not just information on my journey. I've made it from nothing, from home haircut to sharing dad's clothes to getting bullied in school, not having the best start, but I've made it to 10 million pounds. So I wanted to turn my mess into my message. I wanted to show people that don't let any of the things at the start of your journey and any of the setbacks dictate the way that your life is going. So, you've started a podcast. It's all about the topics. How do you choose a topic? Well, it's my belief that you should choose a topic that you are passionate about and that you're interested yourself. Because there's nothing worse than sitting down with a person. Like, for example, for me, if I was going to sit down with a fashion designer and just talk about fashion all day long, high heels, short heels, dress, put this little colored belt on, I'd probably be yawning. I'm like, I don't care. You know, obviously I like seeing other people with nice fashion or they look nice, etc. But in terms of sitting 2 hours or an hour in a podcast room talking about that, it would probably bore me endlessly. So there has to be a topic behind that you're going to be interested in and maybe you know something about. But within time, after your 10, 15, 20 podcasts, you'll be doing this like it's so easy. How do you plan for a podcast? Well, it's very important to do diligence, which is research about your guests. Who are they? Where have they come from? What have they achieved? And what other topics will they be willing to talk about or could share some really good information for you and your audience? So it's important to, first of all, Google your guests. Look at their social media, look at their Instagram, see who they are, who have they collaborated with. If they've got a website, check their website out. And obviously the most easiest bet is just text them or DM them saying, I'd love to have you on a podcast. Are you up for it? Yes. Can you send me a short bio of who you are? And can you tell me some of the topics you'll be willing to talk about? And as soon as they tell you that, then you need to go away and start researching. So use all of the resources, people around you, YouTube, and find out some of the topics and know a little bit something about the topic so you know the right questions to ask so you're not completely lost in that podcast. But also leave something to surprise. If there's something you don't know the answer to, totally, it's a very good place to be because you then become inquisitive. If there's a topic like, for example, imagine I've got a celebrity singer here today. It's like, hi, everybody knows you as Ed Sheeran and you're great at singing these songs and playing the guitar. What's it like on the inside? Get into their mind. What's it like when the cameras are turned off and when you're not performing and singing? Who is Ed Sheeran? What do you do? What do you eat? Who do you talk to? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And see where the conversation flows to. And if you're giving value to your audience, then they're going to give you value to your podcast and your views. So there's also a few formats that you could follow here. Now, you can do a solo podcast. That's somebody who has an opinion or a view, and you can just get a document out, look at world news or world topics that you're passionate about, and you could be talking to your audience. So you choose where you're most comfortable. Hi guys, sorry to cut in there, but I just want to say that if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. Please, it really does mean a lot to me because we reach a wider audience and we get better guests on for you, or we have a budget to make more videos to help you get ahead without you paying a single penny. Now, back to the video. So now that you've got a topic, now that you've got a podcast, now you know the format you want it, what's the next step? Well, you bloody need a studio! And that could be many of things. It's not just a studio, you need cameras and you need good cameras. Remember the algorithm on YouTube. The better your camera quality, the more it will push your videos out. You want good mixing gear. You want a studio that looks aesthetic. Because remember, people are going to be watching your podcast and you don't want them to go, oh, this is a boring setup. You want it to make it look aesthetically good. Once you get your edits back, you'll need an editor to edit your podcast. You can use some sort of AIs as well. You can put it through some AI or flip the screens for you, make an introduction, and you've got your podcast there ready. You have an introduction ending at the end of this podcast. Then you've got to realize you should put your podcast on to a platform that hosts your podcast and sends it out to various platforms such as YouTube, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and there's a few others. But you need something like Acast. Acast is what I use currently. It's a free software and you can pay for Acast also, but currently I don't pay for it. But that helps promote that podcast a little bit more by getting into more pages and sending out a few adverts for you. Make sure that you're hosting on that in one button. It goes onto a few different spaces for you with minimal effort, but also at the same time, it's gone to more than one place. And talk about working smart. When you've got a guest on, always make sure that that guest sees the value in you producing this podcast. Make sure they know why you're doing it. Tell them, say, I want to help my audience. My audience is very young. They are lacking in their mindset, motivation, inspiration. I want to inspire them. So it's just one, reach one, teach one, as they say. So I hope this video was really helpful. You learned all about podcasting, why it's important to start a podcast to get your message out, why it's important to have guests on sharing their message and how to collaborate with their audiences, how to get the whole setup right. I just hope that was really helpful because I thought it's very important to share. I'm on this journey already. I'm happy to help others on their journey. It's all about collaboration and not competition. Anyone who would want me on their podcast, I'm happy to come on and talk about various topics. If you're not just following me on YouTube and you want to see me more often, I have 2 channels. Also, I have my podcast channel, which is Take a Seat. That is also on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and on TikTok. You can follow me on all of these platforms. I have some free templates also on my website, which is www.seanland.co.uk. And there you can find some free templates on how to get started on a business such as property. If there's a guest that you really want on, then tag them on this video and I'll try to get them on for you. But until the next time, peace.